Yeah. Glitch the guarantee. E&E. With your boy shit. Glitch, nigga. Shit, I'm about to flood the streets like when the levees break. Criminal minds, my Garcia can navigate. Flowing while I'm blowing this gas. Nigga, no brakes. Niggas not seeing me ever. I mean, no dates. Fuck around and end up gone. You getting misplaced. E&E, the shit that I claim. You dealing with grace. Took over the game by storm like Rain's mixtape. Thankfully, I been up in smoke like my mixtape. Counting cheddar shit, I'm about to make a grilled cheese. Niggas be faker than bad bitches with good weaves. On my John Wick shit like Keanu Reeves. Replacements won't be enough, you need the whole team. I've been a G since I could finish my ABCs. Kept it a buck so real niggas look up to me. This butcher boy shit get crazy when it's sick of me. I'm coughing out these dope bars till they sick of me.
Can't get rid of me, still can't find a remedy. Still blowing palmers and fill cups of Hennessy. E&E, we own our shit independently. When I go out on a limb, I take extremities. I can see right through transparency. Heard their self-esteem low, insecurities. Now or never, like glitch the guarantee. What's the recipe? King L's Reflection 3. All these chapters in my life, you can turn the page. Books can't tell you my story, gotta live a day. Glitch got my back, yeah, you can copy that. Man, we control the seat, you can copy that. Leave your whole state red like Republicans. Putting fire on the track, now it's bubbling. Butcher boys, E&E, you in trouble, kid. Add first 100 mil, you can double it.
Let's go, let's go. All the hustles getting money, let it show. Let it show. Automatic nigga, how we get the dough. Get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. Let's go. All the hustles getting money, let it show. Let it show. It's automatic nigga, how we get the dough. Get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
Flow sick, corona, jealous in the motherfucker. Can't even take a step, that's how far I trust you. This black boy turned to shine the king under pressure. West side fat jacks, I took more than measure. Shave the extras, that's business starter fees. Street blues, what I taught, royal blood flowing free. Power on my mind, no it's a gang is kind. Read between the lines, it was in my eye. If they ain't got real lines, it ain't hard to spot a counterfeit. Undefeated ultras, real firm gully mountain shit. Couple hot shots, turn on the frozen margaritas. Even better when it's served with some flawless features. Next year they gotta pay for these flawless features. Flawless victories from the flaws that they teach us. Now my flow imitate how I board the plane non-stop. The little J gon' take over with my time side.
Yeah, I get right to it. My nigga, we beg your pardon. We putting niggas back in boxes, yeah, they departed. My flow be retarded, sick, I need hella help. My groove came back, this must be how Stella felt. We just started kicking it like a yellow belt. We all made it to the pros, this is how LaMelo felt. You better yell out help, here come the double team. You catch me in the spot, then you know that the boy is clean. The Louis V look mean with the magazine. So if you try it, you get shot, no vaccine. If you asleep before I came, then I'm the caffeine. I pull the jokers out the deck, yeah, there ain't no laughing. In CEO fashion, we sticking to the business. Wouldn't even let a vegan knock me off my chicken. Something about the VBS when the sun is hitting. Should be flashing like the lights when you getting
Let's
tickets.
go, let's go. All the hustles getting money, let it show. Let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. Get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go. Let's go. All the hustles getting money, let it show. Let it show. It's automatic, nigga, how we get the dough. Get the dough. If it ain't paper, then we probably gotta go. Gotta go. Put your boy shit, nigga, let's go.
We're about to have this show on this Sunday.
Why are you paying $80 for garbage internet?
This is Ryoko Pro. It's a pocket-sized Wi-Fi hotspot.
Foremost, wrestling essence to my young Virgil, Casey Gibson Jr.
Yeah.
This has been going on for quite a while, coming to an end
E&E.
in ways that most people wasn't really expecting.
2020 got me seeing so clear. Put your
Very
boy
simple
shit.
situation, but we don't have a conversation.
Northern Blitz.
To the page. Here on the social engineering.
We cool, nigga. This is the cool. We on the rise now, middle fingers in the sky now. Rolling haze, so we high now. How we ride now? All coops with the top down. And we listening to top down. Trees got a whole pound. Real G's when we come round. Niggas know how it's going down. Yeah, we on the up, bitch. Real shit you should fuck with. E&E, throw it up shit.
And we stay ballin', like we sponsored by Sporting. Ball looking for the falling, soldiers all fall in. And we go all in, while we listening to all in. While you all talking, we smoking and coughing. Till we land in the coffin, glitching, nauseous. Yeah, stepping out office. Yeah, this that bullshit. Kill him in vain, that's vanity. Do it again, it's insanity. Nauseous a real vigilante. Killing these kids, that's plan B. Hood is too hot with an antifreeze. Blowing on leaves in these planet trees. Don't break the code, that's family. We cutting off legs like amputees. My flow was classic, antique. Freaking the beat is it Japanese. Ever our cook is a masterpiece. When money talk, us be Guapanese. Fire and flame mixed with gasoline. Pass on my sons, that's a legacy. Study the gang, now they testing me. They dropped the ball, man, that's incomplete. Beat them so bad, make them retreat. All of these gems you can retweet. Play with your boys on repeat. You pay the price with your receipt. Below $1 million, flipping it. Everyday noise get sickening. Trying to flip bills to trillions. Turning these good girls to villains. Lyrics is sick, butcher but shit. E&E click what we represent. Put it on wax like a candlestick. We moving units and measurements. Cooking it up in the lab. We just performing experiments. Since I'm the bomb atomic, bang. These rappers out of my element.
We on the rise now, middle fingers in the sky now. Rolling haze, so we high now. How we ride now? All coops with the top down. And we listening to top down. Trees got a whole pound. Real G's when we come round. Niggas know how it's going down. Yeah, we on the up, bitch. Real shit you should fuck with. E&E, throw it up shit.
And we stay ballin', like we sponsored by Sporting. Poor looking for the falling, soldiers all fall in. And we go all in, while we listening to all in. While you all talking, we smoking and coughing. Till we land in the coffin, glitching, nauseous. Yeah, stepping out office. Yeah, this that bullshit.
Glitch, nigga, perfected my flow. If I'm on the track, then you know it's a go. The guarantee, nigga, and I guarantee treat the gas like the Clippers. You know I'm a choke. Only exotic when blowing the smoke. No one ahead of me. I got the recipe. Do this shit easily. This is my destiny. Sick throwing lobs. I'm dunking on everything. Niggas is sick, and I got the remedy. What I prescribe is extra artillery. Get in my zone and start going berserk. I'm feeling like Clay when he went off for 60. With the bullshit, swear to God you can miss me. Best friends with the money, Aaliyah and Missy. I come from the bottom, to try me is risky. Throwing this K like that bitch is a frisbee. Real talk, let me lock in, show these niggas what I do. Axe Rain, I be standing next to players too. Front line shit, nigga, I'm the fucking truth. Top 6 ever of the 5 in my group. Niggas still bang top down in the coop. Butcher boyed up and we coming for the loot. E&E shit, we the best, yeah, it's true. This is guaranteed, nigga, this is what I do.
Yeah. You already know, man. Pop in with the Virgil, your brother. On this beautiful Sunday evening. Yeah. What up? It's your brother, your brother Virgil Berry, aka Stacks with the Facts. And we here on this beautiful Sunday evening. It's a beautiful day in my city of Columbus, Ohio. If I do say so myself. Beautiful day for Mother's Day today. Hung out with my mom Dukes, of course. You know what I'm saying? She said she wanted to go get some Creole food, so I took her to the Creole kitchen. Shout out to Chef Boucher and his whole family. It was jam-packed in there today. I'm talking about jam-packed in there today. And it was a beautiful thing to see a Black-owned business in my city of Columbus, Ohio, jam-packed with people, enjoying the day with their mothers. All the beautiful mothers was out today. And we was at the Creole kitchen, and the place was just packed, man. You know what I'm saying? And it just made me feel good that a Black-owned business is flourishing, packed wall to wall. I didn't even mind the long wait for the food. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing, man. Shout out to all the moms out there. You know what I'm saying? This is y'all's day. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope your family, friends, and loved one wish you a happy Mother's Day. I hope you had a nice dinner or brunch or whatever the situation was, breakfast, whatever the situation that your family decided to do for you to sit up there and honor you And you know what I'm saying, for all the contributions that you made and your family, being the mom. It's a beautiful thing, man. Shout out to all the moms out there, man. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Hope y'all enjoyed y'all's Mother's Day. And I wish y'all infinite more to come, right? Infinite more. You did. But yeah, though, and this is a perfect day, I think, to have this conversation. Happy Mother's Day to our young brothers who's no longer with us, to his mom. Rest in the essence to Casey Goodson Jr. You know what I'm saying? Happy Mother's Day to his mother. You know what I'm saying? It's a tumultuous time, you know what I'm saying, to be having on Mother's Day and be having to, at the same time, deal with this situation. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to her, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to the whole city showing her nothing but hella love. People showing up to the damn trial and all that stuff, having her back. You know what I'm talking about? And this is a crazy situation because when all this stuff happened, you know what I'm saying, this was around the time in my city. You know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Not only just in Columbus, Ohio at the time, but just in the country, period. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very unfortunate situation that this right here happened to this young brother. You know what I'm saying? And when it did happen, it had the whole nation in an uproar. And I want to say shout out to the whole families across America that just was showing love, sharing the story, talking about it, showing that lady love on Facebook and Instagram and all of that, and advocating for this officer of the law, Franklin County Sheriff, ex-Franklin County Sheriff, you know what I'm saying, to get the full punishment to the full extent of the law for the crime that he did commit. Unfortunately, they didn't charge him with murder. They charged him with reckless homicide. And, you know, that's why I ask the questions, man. Has justice been served? You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say this real quick. I'm going to come back up here in a second. You know, I'm talking about something we always got to keep in mind. You know what I mean? When it comes to situations like this, I know we get in our feelings and our emotions is running high. You know, it's a very serious situation. And, you know, people's anger is actually quite warranted. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we got to always keep in mind, y'all, right? Right, and I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here for y'all, right? We gotta always keep this in mind, y'all, right? Rest in the essence to our young brother, Casey Goodson Jr. You understand what I'm saying? May the Most High cover and bring understanding to his whole family, you know, the whole community of Columbus, Ohio. You know, this is something that got my whole city in the uproar, rightfully so. And I just want to say shouts out to the city of Columbus, Ohio for having that sister's back in this situation, her giving her all the support she needs. You understand what I'm saying? While going through this crazy, tumultuous time regarding the sentencing of this ex-sheriff and who unalived her son. And if by any chance she happened to be seeing this or watching this, I just want her to keep this scripture in mind. Romans 12:9, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, saith the Lord. Right? I'm going to repeat that. You know what I'm saying? Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. right? So, you know what I mean? When it comes to this situation, I know people are in their feelings, emotions are running high, and you know, we want to crucify him, and you know what I'm saying? But I'm personally, when this situation concerning our young brother Casey Goodson Jr. Has justice been served? I'm going to say yes and no, and we'll get to that. But I just wanted to put this scripture out there for people, you know, to bring some type of comfort, to bring some understanding of who's in control here, who's in power, and no matter how us mere humans may feel about certain things, we got to trust that the Most High is in charge. And our young brother Casey, the situation with our young brother is part of the Most High's plan for the greater, man. Rest in the essence to this young brother. He did not deserve to lose his life in the way he did, but we have to be comfortable with getting to the understanding that part of this, or this is part of the Most High's plan in the way that it was. And look at all the attention it's bringing to the situation with the police. We got here in Franklin County, our sheriff's department is one of the, I would even go as far as say one of the most corrupt, if not in the region, if not in the country, definitely in this region. I had my experiences with the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. And let's just say they're not and now this isn't all of them, but there's a nice population within the Columbus Police Department as well as the Franklin County Sheriff Department that are bad apples, right? And do I think that Jason Meade was a part of that bad apple bunch? Possibly, right? But I'll leave that up to y'all to decide. I have my views and my opinions, but those are my views and my opinions. Y'all might have y'all's own if y'all look into this, all right? So I wanted to just show that scripture right there to just, you know, put in perspective, like who's really in charge here. You know, XL Pro, what's happening with you, man? My brother XL Pro tapping in as usual. Yeah, we're going to get to it. Y'all heard about this? XL Pro, you heard about this situation coming out of my city? You know, rest in the essence to my young brother, man. You know, this was going on at a time in the country where it was COVID going on. You know, the riots, the George Floyd and all that was going on. This was a very crazy and tumultuous time in our country, y'all. And I just, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's an ill situation. Got the whole national and even now international media sit up here on my city, and we're going to go right here. Let's go. Smash that like, subscribe to the page. Of course, share on your social media. Rest in the essence to my young brother, Casey Goodson Jr., man. A life taken way too early, too fast, and we're going to speak about it, man. Shout out to Casey Goodson Jr.'s mom, man, for being strong through this whole. Hold on, my fault, y'all. I ain't even got it on the screen. My bad, y'all. My bad. I apologize. Y'all know I'm over here. This is a sensitive situation for me, y'all, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because this happened in my city, and I remember what happened at the time when this happened. And, you know what I'm saying? Just like right now, I got my city, you know what I'm saying, in the uproar, man. So, you know, this is close to home for me. Let's go.
Justice for Casey.
Justice for Casey!
Campbell, I have to ask, what went through your mind when you heard the verdict?
Thank you, Jesus. It's over. Finally, he has to stand accountable for the Casey.
Now, one of the counts we don't know what's going to happen next. What would you like to see with that murder charge?
You know, honestly, I would still like to see the murder charge pursued. I would still like him to be convicted of murder, because at the end of the day, that's what he did. He murdered Casey on December 4th, 2020. So he should be convicted of murder. But we are equally as happy that there's a conviction regardless, because he's guilty.
Does it give you pause at all that this has been the second jury that has returned a mistrial on murder charges?
I just think that we have people with different ideas and different ways of seeing things. And so, you know, everybody has their own opinion, different ways to look at things, and it just didn't line up together. And that's okay. But we got what we were supposed to get.
What did the last 5.5 years been like for you?
You know, a roller coaster of emotions, of course. You know, we were in trial, mistrial. We wait for years, continuance after continuance. Jason Me got to be at home with his family for 5.5 years with no accountability on a $250,000 bond. So, you know, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for me and my family. But we steadfast, we kept our faith, we kept praying, and we kept leading in love and light.
What message do you hope that the guilty verdict sends to other families out there also still waiting, you know, for justice and closure and their day in court?
Prayerfully it gives them hope, because, you know, as we see here, we are getting accountability, so hopefully it gives them hope that they will too. And I pray they do.
Tamala, was there anything in this trial that stuck out to you? Obviously there were some differences, but watching it, was there anything that stuck out to you as to why we are talking about this right now?
Yeah, they didn't have a case.
But anything specific that you think tipped the jury over to the guilty on the reckless this trial versus what you witnessed in the first trial?
I think it's hard for the jury or any jury to convict an officer of murder. You know, we're talking about an officer, and we know how people view officers. But I think the evidence and the way that the prosecution team presented the evidence is what the jury based their decision upon. We have an overwhelming amount of physical evidence in Casey's case that just cannot be ignored. And in the murder of Casey, Jason Meade was very reckless. So.
And I'll add that two of the jurors that I spoke to after the first trial indicated that had they been allowed to come to a decision separately on the charges, if you recall, they were instructed that it was pretty much all or nothing. They believed that they could have come to a guilty verdict on reckless in the first trial.
Tim, I know it doesn't bring Casey back, but I wonder what does the verdict, how does it, what does it do for you and your family?
It gives us closure, it gives us peace, and now I'm sure I speak for my family when I say this. I know now Casey can rest. You know, we've been fighting for 5.5 years, and Casey sees his family fighting. He knows the stress, he knows the pain, he knows the heartache. And now not only can we try to find peace and finally start truly grieving, my baby can rest.
So what happens for you now? How do you move forward after today?
No, I guess it's one day at a time.
If you could talk to Casey, I'm sure you're a praying woman, I'm sure you are. What do you say to him?
We did it, baby. He's in jail. We wanted him in jail December 4th of 2020. So it's been a long roller coaster ride of him not being in jail for what he did to Casey. He's in jail. We can go home tonight and I can lay down and I can sleep comfortably knowing he's in jail.
Anything else you guys want to add?
You know, I'll say on behalf of this family, I just commend them on through this process, because it has been a long process, as you all know, experienced several times over, and it's been difficult for them. So I commend them on their strength. I commend the special prosecutors for their work in bringing this case, because they have put a lot of effort into it, a lot of dedication, a lot of strategy. And it's not easy to convict a police officer of any charge. And also just the investigation in itself. I think that, you know, it's been in some circles framed as a political prosecution, and it's not that. It's actually been a very bipartisan effort from day one. You know, from the DOJ and the FBI getting involved and the dignity that they showed this family in those moments. It's all been very, very impactful. And so I do just want to add
Because my grandfather passed away on Tuesday, and you know, it was not lost on me that happened because almost 60 years to the day, May 10th, 1966, he was actually shot and left for dead by a police officer in Dayton. And he was placed in the back of a police cruiser and left for dead. And it took a supervisor to come on the scene and to say, can you walk? And to escort him to the hospital. And in the hospital, he was again denied treatment. And it took a nurse who slipped our relative phone number to a doctor who came in and performed surgery on him and saved his life. And it took the non-shooting officer who actually told the truth. And the allegations against my grandfather were dropped, and that officer was terminated. And my grandfather always showed that grace and appreciation for that supervisor and for that non-shooting officer that told the truth. That non-shooting officer was later ostracized by the police department, and he committed suicide. And so for as much as I thought about my grandfather in the past few days, I thought a lot about that officer, O.J. Bradley, that committed suicide because of how he was ostracized for doing the right thing. And I think this has been framed many times over as anti-police or as, you know, an attack against police officers. And I just want to honor my grandfather. I want to honor Casey, who has been pictured with police officers. I want to honor this family and all of us who actually support and appreciate police officers. Jason Meade is one individual who is charged and convicted criminally, but he is not who police officers are. And it should not be framed as that. You know, this should not be a divisive moment. It should be an opportunity to heal. And that's what a conviction does. That's what accountability, that's what being held accountable does for our community. And I just think that all of this is a very powerful moment. And, you know, I was gifted by Tamla and the family Casey's ashes right here in this bracelet. And I wore it today because like it was, you know, fitting to do so. And so justice for Casey. We are very appreciative of the community that has supported. And let's just keep pushing, you know. Progress is our goal, and it's our guarantee. Absolutely. Any further questions? All right. Thank you.
Justice.
Justice for our brethren, young Casey Goodson Jr., man. No matter how anybody may feel about it, look, his mama, this is just what I want to say to y'all out there. Everybody has a right to feel however you feel with this verdict, but hey, his mama seems to be okay with it and cool, accepting, forgives. I'm pretty sure she done went through her healing stage, her forgiveness stage, and you know, all of that. All she wants is just justice for her son. Justice has been served. And like my man Yellow D said, salute to the Franklin County court system for finally getting something right. Finally. Justice has been served. Jason Meade has been fired. To my knowledge, he has been straight cut off from the FBOP. He's no longer a sheriff. You know what I'm talking about? He could possibly be doing a certain amount of time in a joint, and he gets sentenced in June or July, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and hopefully, you know what I'm saying, hopefully his mother can get some, you know what I'm saying, what she's supposed to get, whatever amount that she's supposed to get or she going for, she should absolutely get it, man. Right? And I want to bring up another one, you know what I'm saying, another video. Sorry, I like to click on the bell cigar to the face, man. Right.
Everyone can have a seat.
That's that like button. Click on the bell, subscribe to the page, y'all. Share your social engineer. Let's go, man. Justice for Casey.
This is the case caption, State of Ohio versus Michael Jason Meade, case number 21 CR 5052. We, the jury, upon our oaths and law and evidence in this case, find the defendant guilty of reckless homicide as charged in count 2 of the indictment, signed this 7th day of May 2026 by each and every juror. Do you want the jury pooled?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the court and especially on behalf of the community, especially on behalf of the court. Thank you for your jury service. You're now free from all admonitions and warnings. Thank you.
All rise.
And I will declare a mistrial as to count one on this, as the jury was hung. At this time, Mr. Meade, I'm going to revoke your bond. I'll order a pre-sentence investigation report in this matter, and we'll bring you back for sentencing July 16th, 2026. Any questions on behalf of the state?
No, Your Honor.
Anything on behalf of the defense?
Can we make an argument for bond at this point?
You can.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Honor. As the court is aware, there is no gun specification attached to the reckless homicide. There is no mandatory time. A felony of the third degree does not carry a presumption, Your Honor, of any prison time. In terms of Mr. Meade, he has no prior record whatsoever. He's been in compliance with his bond for the entire duration of this case. They posted a bond. He has never been out of compliance. He has asked permission to travel, stuff like that. He's not a flight risk, Your Honor. We understand that the jury has spoken with regards to the reckless homicide, but again, there are, I would say, the predominant number of people who have charge of reckless homicide are out on bond, as well as with regards to, and people convicted of homicide, many times, reckless homicide in this court, have been given probation. They have been given a mixed sentence and things of that nature. So at this point in time, we would ask the court to allow him to remain out on the conditions of his bond, or if the court would like an additional bond, or if you'd like us to brief that and get that to you at the appropriate time.
At this time, I'm going to revoke his bond. If you need to brief it and have set up a bond hearing, that's perfectly fine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That'll be all.
Have everyone on the side.
Powerful. Powerful.
Emotion right now after the jury came back with a guilty verdict in the second count of reckless homicide in the retrial of former Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade. The judge did declare a mistrial on the first count, which was the count of murder, and the count of reckless homicide.
Mistrial on the murder charge. Now, after this goes off, I'm going to play the video from when this first happened, right? He should have got convicted of murder, if you ask me, because he definitely murdered Casey. Casey did not have a weapon. Casey did not commit a crime. He wasn't accused of a crime. He wasn't involved in a crime. He just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time to be having mistaken. I'm going to get to it, y'all. Let's go, man. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, man. Rest in essence to my young brother, Casey Goodson Jr., man.
The former deputy guilty.
First full day of deliberations here for this jury, and back and forth really for a lot of the day. There's a lot of emotion in that courtroom. They came back, they asked questions, they took breaks, they came back, had some more questions, back and forth. The judge even sent them back in, issuing a Howard charge, telling them to try harder when they said that it was impossible to come to a verdict. But they went back in and they did come to a conclusion for the reckless homicide charge.
We have Kevin Landers and Lacey Chris. We're at the courthouse. We're going to check in with Kevin Landers. He has been there throughout the duration of the day. Kevin, are you joining us live now? Can you hear me? There we go. Kevin?
Yep, I can hear you. A couple of interesting points that Mark Collins made for Jason Meade. Well, this is a felony 3, which Mark Collins argued has no presumption of prison time, and he tried to argue with the judge not to revoke the bond to allow his client to be released and back home. And the judge obviously said, we're not going to do that. We're going to revoke his bond. It's interesting to note when you think back of this case, this started in December of 2020 when the shooting happened, when 23-year-old Casey Goodson lost his life in this shooting. Obviously a victory for the family who have been waiting for this verdict since the very beginning. So clearly they're smiling while the other side is not at this point. When you look
victory for the whole city, man, for real.
Back at this case, this started when Jason Meade was working a fugitive task force, not involving Casey Goodson, but he says he saw Goodson waving his gun, and that's when Meade began to follow Goodson back to his grandmother's house. And then this is where the case gets interesting. Meade says, Goodson turned towards him with a gun, and then the shooting happened. The grandmother at the time said that Casey Goodson actually had a sandwich in his hand and keys, and did not see him turn around and fire that weapon. We were interested to see whether or not this case was going to go to potentially a third trial, because we've had 2 hung juries before. And then the question was this going to go to a third? And I actually talked to Ron O'Brien, the longest serving prosecutor in Franklin.
Ron O'Brien been our city prosecutor for 30-some years, man.
Franklin County history, who said it's certainly rare, but it wasn't unprecedented that it was possible that they could have gone to a third trial if this would have come back hung. But that is not the case anymore. We have a guilty verdict, and now we move on. The question now is for Mark Collins and the Meade team, will they appeal this case? And at this point, we don't know. Still very fresh after just minutes of hearing this guilty verdict. So that's what we'll be following as this case progresses. But clearly, both sides, there's a winner and a loser in a case like this. And we'll have to see how this all plays out as the legal part of this case continues, because, as I mentioned, Mark Collins had asked that his client be able to post bond so he can go home, but the judge eventually ruled that is not the case. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, the back and forth.
Yeah,
well, the back and forth also for both sides, because
Absolutely.
not being able to come to a verdict and being sent back in and then coming out with a verdict on one of the counts right there. Also, we can take you back outside the courthouse right now. Libby Cathy is there outside the courthouse. This is all fresh news. Libby, just coming out for the guilty verdict on one count there and the mistrial on the murder charge.
That's right, Jeff, and we are right here outside the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, waiting for some of those family members and people on both sides of the case to come out and react to this for the first time. So we will be out here to receive them. So far, it's pretty quiet out here, but we're very eager to hear from those. And I know our Lacey Crisp, who has been all over this case, is inside the courtroom right now and may be seeing more of it, but I could hear just from our stream crying inside of that courtroom. So obviously a very emotional reaction to this verdict. And I believe Lacey Crisp, who has been all over this, has more inside right now. Lacey?
Yeah, you guys can about imagine the emotion in that courtroom. We had about a 10-minute warning before the jury was brought back in. All the family members gathered in the courtroom. We had all the attorneys there. We had 6 Franklin Sheriff's deputies there to keep order in the courtroom. Jason Meade's wife was standing up, rocking back and forth. Tamala Payne was sitting just a couple feet away from me. She was flanked by the family attorney, Sean Walton, and her pastor, Young, and she was crying. She was holding their hands, and tears released from Tamala Payne as that guilty verdict was read. Now, we don't know what happens next with the case. We know that the judge said that he has revoked the bond. His attorney, Mark Collins, will likely ask for another hearing here in a couple of weeks to talk about that bond, to talk about a sentencing date, and to see they declared a mistrial in the murder charge, which is interesting. So we'll have to wait and see kind of what happens here. But we're waiting to have some of the members of the family and some representatives of the Fraternal Order of Police talk to us. So as soon as they come in and they're ready, we'll have that information.
All right, very interesting. All right.
that your cousin? I don't know. They look like police. I don't know who that is. I don't even know what is going on for real.
That was Casey Goodson Jr.'s cousin calling for help moments after he was shot and killed on the steps of his home.
And the preliminary autopsy report shows Goodson Jr.'s cause of death is multiple gunshot wounds to the torso. Franklin County Coroner Dr. Anahi Ortiz says his manner of death is homicide. That means Goodson died at the hands of another. The shooting happened last Friday when the Franklin County Sheriff's Office was assisting the U.S. Marshal in an operation in that area. Police say that the deputy said Goodson drove past waving a gun. And after following him, both parties got out of their cars and the deputy shot Goodson. They say when he refused to drop a weapon.
However, Goodson's family says this is not what happened. They say that he was walking into the house carrying sandwiches, all after coming from a dentist appointment.
And only on 4 tonight, the first and only local interview with Goodson's mother and the family attorney.
I sat down with them this afternoon. We talked about a number of things. I asked Tamala Payne, what do people need to know about her son?
He was just a good kid. I mean, to know Casey is to love Casey. I mean, he had a good spirit, a good heart. He loved his siblings. He loved animals. Because the coward that took my son's life took his voice. And my son needs a voice. I have to be his voice. He has to be her. He was murdered in blood.
Rest in the essence. Rest in the essence to my young brother Casey Goodson Jr., man. Yeah, he was gunned down, man. Listen here, y'all, man. So when this happened, they was doing a SWAT raid in the city, right? On some suspected drug dealers in the area where Casey Goodson Jr. just happened to be living as well. This dude, Jason Meade, right? This dude, Jason Meade, said that Casey rode past in a car waving the blicky. Right? But when he finally, after hawking KC down, he gunned the young brother down. He ain't had no pistol on him. He wasn't driving a car. He had a Subway sandwich. He just came from Subway. He was getting his granny some food from Subway. Right? He was getting his granny some food from Subway. And when the police came there was no gun found on this person, no gun found in the house. There's no weapon that he was allegedly brandishing. They didn't find anything. Right? Monique Robinson, what's up with you, loved one? Right? Now let's finish watching. Rest of the answer to our young brother.
Took his voice. And my son needs a voice. I have to be his voice. He has to be her. He was murdered in cold blood.
You said the only threat my son was he was a black man. Tell me more about that.
He was a black man. He was a black man in the path of a racist, quote unquote, so-called deputy who became a target.
So many questions remain, and this family is being traumatized and traumatized and traumatized each and every day that those questions remain unanswered, and they deserve better. I get so upset when someone asks why Casey had a gun. Casey wanted to protect his family. Casey that was his right.
He wanted to be an instructor?
He did. He did. He wanted to be a CCW instructor as well as own his own fleet of trucks. He had a CDL license.
Back in June, we protested for George Floyd. We protested for Breonna. We protested for all black Americans because we're all fed up, right? Columbus protested because it happened in, somewhere else, but we knew it could happen to us. And right here, you know, in Columbus, it happened in his own home.
I just got a lot of mixed emotions. I just want justice. I want murder charges. I want that man in jail.
And we should remind you the Columbus Police Department is investigating this case. The same with the Department of Justice and FBI. The family says Goodson also had a license to carry a gun. His mother, very emotional. You can understand.
Oh,
She's
I'm a mom, of course.
She hasn't had a lot of sleep in the past 5 days. She called it pure hell. She's exhausted. She says she will continue this fight for her son. She wants justice.
I heard you say he wanted to be an instructor. He wanted to teach firearm safety, correct?
Correct.
So is that why they believe it's not possible that he would have just haphazardly been waving a gun?
They said he had great respect for firearms. He spoke with a number of family members and told them never have illegal weapons, don't get caught with one. He went on and on. It's tough to listen to this, but we also have to remember there is investigation. There is a process that plays out through all of this. There is oftentimes a rush to judgment, but there's a sense of fairness that has to take place.
And we should also remember there are, you said, family members. He had many young siblings.
There were 10 of them. He was the oldest. There was a young cousin there, a younger sibling, 3 years old. Young siblings, they're twins. A lot of people are affected by this, a lot of trauma. His mother said they will need help.
And we know that the sheriff also had things to say about this and the pressure that's on the deputy. And we've, again, got to remind everyone, it's an ongoing investigation. Yes. And we will be following it every step of the way, including what's going on with the family.
That's right. We will be doing that. We do want to tell you, you can listen to my full interview and read more of our coverage of this deadly shooting and everything that's played out over the last 5 days. You can visit NBC4i.com right now.
And as that investigation continues, as I said, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office released a video statement about this deadly shooting today.
I'm deeply praying for the family of Mr. Goodson. I know this is a tragic time and this is a tragic loss. And I'm also praying for Deputy Meade and his family because there's been a rush to judgment by some, even before the investigation has been completed.
And we should point out that the Goodson shooting will be a big part of the next edition of The Conversation, airing tomorrow night at 7:30 here on NBC.
Oh, man. Right. All over the that's the essence for our young man.
Now to the killing of another Black American at the hands of authorities, this time in Columbus, Ohio. 23-year-old Casey Goodson Jr. was shot by a sheriff's deputy near his own front door of his home on Friday. His family says that he had only gone out for sandwiches, but officials say Goodson refused an order to drop a gun. Now the Justice Department is getting involved. Jeff Pegues reports.
My grandson just got shot.
On a call with 911, Casey Goodson's grandmother says her grandson has been shot as he entered their home.
I just heard the gunshots and I would get up and he's laying in the door.
The family says Goodson had just arrived home with sandwiches. Just moments before the shooting, Goodson was spotted by a sheriff's deputy who was working as part of a U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force conducting a search for a suspect in the neighborhood. Goodson was not the target of the manhunt. Authorities say Goodson was seen waving a gun as he drove by.
The deputy, at some point after that, he confronted him, and it went badly.
Police claim Goodson then got out of his vehicle and was ordered to drop his gun. And when he failed to comply, the deputy opened fire. Law enforcement has stated at least one person heard that verbal command, and they say a gun was found at the scene. But Goodson family attorney Sean Walton disputes that chain of events, saying no one from Goodson's family heard any confrontation and that the 23-year-old was killed in front of them, including several children.
Casey was executed while walking into his own home. And that's something that curiously was left out of the initial statement.
Goodson's family say that they did not see a gun on Casey. They also say he had no criminal record and was a legal gun owner and concealed carry permit holder.
The question that needs to be answered immediately is why was Casey shot? For having a gun when he had every legal right to do so.
In an interview with CNN, Goodson's mother says she feels race played a part in her son's death.
Because of the color of our black man's skin, they're not protected. They become targets instead of somebody that they have to protect.
Earlier, we spoke to Jeff about the investigation and the deputy that was involved in the deadly shooting.
Get the sense that most departments across the country now have body cameras. That's just not the case. Some departments have resisted getting body cameras. Some departments say they don't have the budget for body cameras. And in this case, they don't have body cameras. And so that's a critical piece of potential evidence that investigators won't have in this case. You know, in so many cases that we've seen over the years, including the George Floyd case, you have these body cameras and cell phone cameras playing such a prominent role in the investigations. But in this case, we don't.
Right. Pay attention, y'all. This is stuff I be talking about all the time. Right? I gotta think, man, this was going on at a time where cops just was murking dudes and chicks all across the country. I mean, this is like around the George Floyd era. This is around the everything else. Breonna Taylor, this is all within the same time frame. Right? And they just had the George Floyd riots. Right? So you gotta think about the political time at the time, man. It was tension out here on this with this situation. So now we got this dude, Jason Meade, talking about some Casey rolled by brandishing the pistol like. And my whole thing when this first happened, for one, okay, let's just take that in consideration, right? Why would Casey do that? Why would he ride past sheriffs and would look like some type of federal task force, right? Why would he ride past them in a car brandishing a gun? That, you know, but then you also got to ask the question, well, how did the police officer know that KC had a pistol on him? Then you got to take into consideration, his family said that he didn't have a gun on his person anyway. He was a legal licensed carrier, but there's no way to corroborate if KC in fact had a firearm on his person, nor anything to corroborate Jason Meade saying that he brandished it as he rode past in the car, right? So, you know, it's a lot of, even to my, you know, perception, it's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, I think, on both sides, right? Now, of course, when it comes to speculating what possibly potentially could have happened, I mean, my mind went in 1,000 different scenarios, and I said, you know what, I'm going to stick to what they're telling us, because we just don't know. We can sit here and surmise, and we can guess, and we can whatever, but the fact of the matter is we just don't know what happened. We don't know how Jason Meade came to see if Casey had a pistol on him. We can't corroborate if Casey, in fact, did have a pistol on him, seeing how one wasn't recovered from his person. So, I mean, it's a lot of, still even right now, man, maybe this is why it was a mistrial for the, something's missing. And it's a combination of the two things that I think I just said. It don't make no sense, Yellow. That's when I said, when this happened, I said, hold on, so. And then I said, okay, well, let's take into consideration what Jason Meade saying. Say if that's true, which is possible. What type of young guy was KC? What was he into? What was he involved with? Was he in a gang? Was he a dope boy? Was he in the streets? No criminal record. Upstanding young brother, had a job working somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. good kid, man. Well loved by his family and his community and stuff like that. And he wanted to be an instructor to show people about, especially young people, about firearm safety and, and all of that. And, it's just a crazy situation for him to get done the way he was done because we don't have no corroboration of no wrongdoing on his side. This guy said that he rode past the car brandishing the pistol. Why would Casey do that? Now, if Casey was a young thug, a young demon out here who catching hats and sliding on the ops and got videos of rapping, showing guns and pistols, smoking blunts with, then I would be like, oh, maybe there's some truth to that. But nah, Casey was a good kid. He wasn't into none of that. Wasn't in the streets at all. No criminal record. Never been arrested. Never been in trouble before. Pretty decent young brother. It just doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't matter. He wasn't no part of the federal investigation where they were, raiding the home. He wasn't involved in any of that. Casey, he had nothing to do with any of that. He wasn't under investigation. His name wasn't on any list or anything, right? And that's a major piece to this story that is missing, right? Let's go.
Have that. You can see that this
Smash
is
that like
a
button,
veteran
people don't
police
subscribe to the page.
officer or sheriff's deputy, 17 years on the force. He's been identified as Jason Meade. But there are some real questions right now about what happened in this particular incident.
So the shooting did not involve a Columbus police officer. So why is the Columbus Police Critical Incident Response Team the primary agency investigating this shooting? And how's the family attorney responding to the investigation?
Well, see, now that's a good question right there. That right there should let you know that there's something going on. The Columbus Police Department wasn't involved with this at all. This was the Sheriff Department and a federal task force of whatever liaison task agencies they had going on, FBI, ATF, whoever, DEA, that's never really been divulged to us, I don't think, what federal agencies were out there that day. But the CPD wasn't involved at all. So, I'm talking about, why are they even investigating this? Shouldn't the Franklin County Sheriff Department and their Internal Affairs Department be investigating this? Good question.
Well, the incident actually happened in Columbus. It was a sheriff's deputy with Franklin County, but it wasn't Columbus PD. But because it happened in that jurisdiction, the Columbus Police Department will be investigating. The Goodson family attorney has said, this is not something that they're comfortable with. They want what they are calling a transparent investigation. And they believe that the failure to do so to this point has really impacted this investigation. You now know that the Department of Justice is looking into this case as well, and that is something that the family obviously welcomes as the DOJ tries to determine if Casey Goodson's civil rights were violated. But there is, surprisingly, relatively little evidence in this case, and it's going to be hard to determine. And I say relatively little evidence because you just don't know what kind of evidence there was at the original scene because of how this original investigation was handled. And so, investigators with DOJ and anybody else who looks into this case is really starting from behind in terms of being able to get their hands on the evidence.
As you mentioned, the Columbus Police Department tried to turn the case over to the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, the state agency that usually looks into police shootings, but the BCI denied the request. Why?
Well, they, as I alluded to earlier, they said that there's been too much time that has passed in this investigation. They weren't notified until 2 or 3 days later, and they just felt that they could not conduct a thorough investigation, having been notified that far after this shooting. You know, I guess what they're suggesting is that if they were called in earlier to investigate this case, then they would have been in a better position to accept the case. But in this incident, for some reason, it took several days before they were called in to investigate this shooting.
Well, something tells me there are going to be a lot of questions moving forward, and possibly questions that we'll never get, the right answers to. Jeff, though, thanks so much for bringing us up to speed.
My pleasure.
Creating custom clothing with tap stitch is simple.
That was 5 years ago, man.
Now,
You know what I'm talking about? So,
everyone can have a seat.
Hold on. Yeah, man. It's a crazy situation, y'all, because, we still really don't know what happened. You know what I mean? And just like the homie said, there's like literally even up to, it's pretty much the same situation right there. There's no evidence of anything. We don't know how Jason Meade came to find out that Casey had a gun. He said he rode past and seen him brandishing it. Was he making that up? What reason did he have to make that up? Was Jason Meade familiar with Casey? Did Casey actually ride past brandishing a gun? We have to ask these questions. Did he actually ride past brandishing a gun and he got out of the car and ran and somehow was able to get rid of the gun so he didn't have it on him? But when Jason Meade finally caught up to him, he thought he had the gun in his hand and was really Subway Sanders and he shot him. And these are the questions we got to ask, y'all. Tough questions, right? And the crazy part about this situation is we do not know, right? Now, according to his family, KC wasn't involved in any of that type of stuff. He's a decent kid. They said that KC did not have a gun. Okay, that's cool. Why would Jason Meade make up such a story? Right? Is Jason Meade lying when he said he seen Casey ride past brandishing the pistol? What made him pick Casey out of all people and then pursuing him? It's just like my man Yellow D said, it just makes absolutely no sense. And it's sad that this young brother lost his life as a result. And we really don't know what happened. Understand that. We don't know what happened. But we do know that it was this guy, Jason Meade, who offed our young brother. And since he didn't have a body cam on him, we don't know actually what happened. Right? We really don't know. And I think that's very interesting, yet very strange at the same time. Right? Because now it's like, will we ever know what happened? Right? But we do know that as far as him doing what he did to Casey, he's now been held accountable for it. He's been tried, found guilty, and he go for sentence in July. I want to find a video where they were talking about, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if I type this in. Yeah, number one topic.
I'm the president of Fraternal Police Capital City Lodge number 9. I represent 4,700 dedicated men and women I have no prepared statement. There's really nothing to prepare me for this. I could tell you nothing shocks me anymore. What's kind of surprising is the bond was been revoked. An F3 reckless homicide charge. It surprised me. Shitbags every day walking in and outside of that courtroom. They go outside and they kill members of our community.
I notice how they just get so comfortable with cursing in the media nowadays, using foul language, F-bombs and all that. Y'all paying attention to that?
They shoot and kill our cops. A little surprised by that. We'll have a bond hearing at the end of the day. We hope to see Jason bond get revoked, and we'll see what happens towards sentencing. I could tell you just, everybody that was involved, this was long, 6 years, drawn out. This is the second trial. I hope there, for the sake of not only the Meade family, the Goodson family, and the community, I hope we don't try to do a third trial on this murder charge. The prosecutor inherited this case, and we understand that. But now any decision to try the murder a third time will be on the hands of prosecutor favor. I hope she looks through this case, sees it for what it is. 2 juries couldn't get it, and I hope that's the end of the day. When I'm going to go and I'm going to tell the women of law enforcement, I'm going to let them know what I've always told them. You are 1 run away from being the officer that got shot last week. You are 1 run away from being Connor Grubb, from being Adam Coy, from being Jason Meade. Yet you know what they're going to do? They're going to keep going on there every single day. Our cops and our deputies, they're going to keep doing their job because that's what they do. The FOP, we're going to keep advocating for the men and women of law enforcement. We're going to keep advocating for the community they serve. With that, I'll take any questions.
What did you think when they came back after 6 hours of deliberation, basically saying they're at an impasse? It would be impossible for them to reach a decision and then an hour and a half later come back with a guilty verdict.
I don't know what goes on in that room. I can tell you, I respect the jury. I respect their time. Clearly, we're disappointed with the decision. It should either be 1 or none for me. But it took them time. At least they did their due diligence and look into it. And we'll see. I'm here to make no excuses. We'll just see what happens. What upsets me, though, is you look at the courtroom. The Meade family, outstanding people, not a word. Some tears, not a word. Yeah, out in the hallway, I have someone mocking me, trying to make fun. Hey, we did this. Like what? You want to fight or something? I could not care less.
Look at this guy. This guy's the president of the FBOP.
Always going to come professional. I'm always going to.
My fault, the FOP. My fault. Fraternal Order of Police.
Going to say the facts.
The Fraternal Order of Police, which is a Masonic organization, y'all.
Our side is never going to hoop and holler. We even said we had a pact. If we were to win this, we're never going to let them see it down. We're not going to celebrate it. We don't celebrate deaths. We don't celebrate court victories. But that shows the character of our officers and their family.
What was your reaction to the bond being revoked, and just why do you think that is?
Again, we let people every day in this courtroom walk. Individuals who shoot people. We've let people felonious assault walk. We've given them an ankle monitor and a piece of paper and said, hey, please, pretty please with sugar on top, don't do this again. And they still do it. But now when you have an officer, a 25-year veteran, a U.S. Marine who fought for the country, who fought for these United States, who with dedication and passion served, now he's getting locked up in accounting, to me that's kind of a joke. You cannot tell me politics does not influence policing in court. I'll never believe that.
Brian, how does a verdict like this impact the entire law enforcement community here in Central?
Yeah, just like I told you. You have Graham versus Connor, you have a split-second decision. You get the wrong decision, you go to the prison, or you die. It's as simple as that.
Do you think this is going to cause...
Hey, man, look at this guy, man.
Especially with this conviction on reckless homicide, officers make different decisions?
It's already caused it. If you remember, some of the members of the media here a couple months ago, you wrote an article how traffic tickets are almost, how productivity is completely down. It wasn't just from this case, it was the Coy case, the Connor Grubb case, the Anderson case, the Ferguson effect, right? You tell us, what do you want our police officers to do? Do you want them to go out there? Do you want them to track down violent offenders? What do you want them to do when somebody points a gun at you? You just tell us. What do you want us to do? Our officers have a right to protect themselves.
There's no way to corroborate that Casey pointed a gun at Jason Meade. He big Saudi, right? There's no way to corroborate. There's no way to corroborate that Casey pointed a gun at Jason Meade, just like there's no way to corroborate, right? There's just no way to corroborate it. There's no, like I said, when they pulled up, Casey didn't have a gun taken off of his person when the police or who were the squad, emergency squad, the medics arrived on the scene. There was no gun found on his person. Although he did have a license to carry, though. There's no way to corroborate what Jason Meade is saying, just like there's no way to corroborate that, you know what I'm saying, what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Or the opposite. There's no way to corroborate that Casey actually did. It's just no way. We don't know what happened. For all we know, he could be making this up, right? But the thing is, the question has to remain in this situation. Why did Jason Meade pursue Casey if he didn't have a gun, if he did not brandish a gun? How is it that Jason Meade even came upon Casey? Right? That's the question we got to ask. That's the question that's not been answered either. And since there was no body cam footage, there's no way to corroborate anything. Only thing we do know for a fact, like I said earlier, is that Jason Meade did pull tight on Casey and gunned him down. Casey did not fire a weapon. Nobody reported or corroborated a weapon being fired. Matter of fact, they said that no shots were fired. They didn't hear any until Jason Meade started shooting. Casey did not have a gun on him. He was shot, and that's that exactly. He was shot in the back, I believe 4 times, possibly more. Once again, no gun was found on Casey's person. It was not removed from him. Nowhere around him. No pistol was recovered. Right?
To protect the public.
Brian, what's your response to a guilty of reckless homicide, but then a draw when it comes to the actual murder charge?
Yeah, so again, did it meet the mens rea? Did it meet the culpable mental state? They clearly couldn't come to an agreement. I don't know what the count is. In terms of reckless homicide, it's a different threshold, whether it's knowingly, negligently, or recklessly, obviously. We'll see. What I know this is the only one that gained out of this, the Goodson family gained nothing. They lost a family member, and that is terrible. The police, Meade's family, they gained nothing. They lost everything, as did the Goodson family. One person gained out of this. That's the poverty pimp that got $7 million from the city. The one that stands in front of you with a $3,000 suit and some Jimmy Choos that'll be up here in a minute. I'm a public servant with a Jose Bank shirt, just trying to tell you what the men and women of law enforcement feel.
God.
Can you talk about just what this 5.5 years has been like for the Meade family? We heard a little bit about that in the last trial, but this time around we didn't hear much of that.
Sure. So again, it's impacted both families. We said from the beginning, for the sake of both families, how do you get a fair trial in this town? These highly publicized media's followed it, social media, everybody knew this case. That's why we stand on, you should have this in another town, in another city, for the sake of both families. I hope moving forward, maybe we learn on it, especially in the age of 24/7 media coverage, social media. We would hopefully try to see this for the sake of both sides. It goes somewhere else.
2 years ago, he also had a mistrial, but that was on all charges. I know that some of that changed between now and then. Do you think those changes are really kind of what made the difference between getting an actual guilty verdict here?
Again, I don't know. I don't know what was in mind. The jury, respect them for taking 2 to 3 weeks out of their life for coming down here. I know it's a lot to ask for jurors, you know, and they're doing their civic duty. I just appreciate them regardless of my disappointment.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just thank you so much for your time.
Well, crazy situation, man. Smash that like button, click on the bell, subscribe to the page, share on social engineering.
Hi there.
Rest
Would you like to receive a
Brother
gift?
Casey
I'm a
Goodson
missionary
Jr.,
for the
man.
Church of Jesus Christ of
Now, for the family of Casey Goodson Jr., today's verdict brought a sense of relief and long-awaited justice. Not exactly the justice they were hoping for, but Casey's mother told me earlier tonight that something is better than nothing.
Guilty of reckless homicide as charged in count 2 of the indictment.
Justice for Casey, something Tamala Payne has been fighting for since December 4th of 2020, when her son was shot to death by former Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade. She says justice has been served to a certain extent.
You know, we would all like to see him be found guilty of murder, because what he did is murder Casey. And I don't even like to say he murdered Casey, he executed Casey.
Jurors were deadlocked on the murder charge, so the judge declared a mistrial on that count.
But to have him be convicted of something is still a great feeling.
Family attorney Sean Walton says they plan to push for a third trial on the murder charge.
You know, knowing that in the first trial, 9 jurors wanted to convict him of murder. In this trial, 10 jurors wanted to convict him of murder. There's an overwhelming number of folks who hear this case and they understand that this was murder. And to let someone walk free without facing that charge is just, it's not in the interest of the public good.
Since Casey's death, Tamala has made it her mission to protect her son's reputation, using social media to tell his story through pictures and shared memories.
From the beginning, I said I will not allow them to taint Casey or his character or who he was.
She needed people to know that her son wasn't a thug. He wasn't a criminal, and he didn't deserve to have his life cut short at just 23.
For the first year and a half after he was murdered, I posted a different picture every day with the story behind it. So my intention and my goal was to allow the community to learn Casey, to get to know Casey, and to love Casey, and to stand with Casey.
She fought for 5.5 years and says the fight isn't over, but today's verdict did give her some relief since Jason Meade is being held accountable for his actions.
I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm everywhere.
Both Tamala and Sean say they're grateful for the community stepping up to support their fight for justice.
It's folks uniting for good. Ultimately, good prevails, and we see that over a period of years. It's not easy. I mean, you get tired, you know, but we have to keep showing up, and with that, we build collective power.
The family of Casey Goodson Jr.
Showing up.
Right. And I gotta say to the city of Columbus, Ohio, man, shout out to my city, man, because people definitely been supporting this sister ever since this happened. And I really respect how she did not allow the media to taint no negative picture of Casey. Like I said, man, it's just very strange to me how a young brother who had no criminal record reportedly was not involved in any type of criminality. He wasn't a thug. He wasn't a gangster. He wasn't a hitter. He wasn't none of that. He wasn't on demon time, none of that. He was a good kid, well loved and respected by his family. But it's a lot of questions that remain. How did Jason Meade come upon Casey? What made him pursue Casey all the way to his home? Why would he make up such a story saying that Casey Roy Bass brandishing the gun? There was no gun recovered from his person. It's a lot of questions that still remain, but justice has been served up until this point. We're going to see in July, and we're going to come back to it. Of course, over here at Able Talk Podcast and Able Talk Media, We definitely gonna cover it when it had the sentencing in July, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen. He has a felony 3, which has a max of I think 9 years. 6, 9 years. I don't one of them 9 years. I think is the max on the charge, and we're gonna see, man. You know what I'm saying? Rest in the essence to our young brother Casey Goodson Jr. Justice up until this point has been served, and listen here, man. At the end of the day, man, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is gonna have the final say so. So you know what I'm saying? Jason Meade is off the streets. He's in the county jail right now. And he will sit in there until July when he goes up for sentencing. And we're going to see what happens then, man. Hopefully, you know, justice will continue to be served and be fully done. And then now his mother and the family and the community can finally have some full closure. And, you know, justice will be served. And, you know what I'm saying? This is never really justice when somebody loses their life, especially your loved one, your son, your daughter. It's a terrible situation, but you know, I want y'all to keep in mind that when stuff like this happen, you know what I mean, I want y'all to understand how stuff like this is made to, understand when I say made to happen, I mean how the environments is garnered to where things like this could possibly potentially come about. And it's just strange to me with this whole situation is like, how did Jason Meade come upon Casey? What made him point Casey out? If he's not telling the truth and lying and making a story up about Casey Well Barber and gun, okay, if he didn't do that, then why was Jason Meade even pursuing him? And we just don't know. And that's just a very strange and very interesting point of this, it's part of this whole situation though, because it's like, okay, Casey's gone. That's sad. Or it's an essence to the young brother. He's locked up right now, waiting sentencing for this. But we still don't know what happened, and that's not going to sit right with me, right? Because there's something missing from this. All right, there's something missing. But as of right now, his mother's good, his family's good. We're waiting the trial, the sentencing. I mean, not the trouble waiting for the sentencing. We're gonna see in July, y'all. So you know, rest in peace to Casey, man. We're gonna get up out of here, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. It's Mother's Day. Hopefully, all the mothers out there had a beautiful day. Y'all showed your mother a good time and appreciation for being your mother, being the vessel chosen to bring you into this world. It's a beautiful thing. And, you know, love on your loved ones, man. You know, you never know when it's going to be somebody's time to go. And all I do personally think, in my personal opinion, it was too early for KC. But in the grand scheme of things, everything happens for a reason. We just got to figure out what those reasons are, man. Shout out to his mother, Tamala Payne, for being having the strength to get through this without breaking down and, you know, making sure that her son's name and image was intact. He wasn't painted to be no thug, no criminal, and he deserved for this to happen to him. Jason Meade should get away because he was just basically doing his job. No proof, no way to corroborate, validate, verify anything, which just doesn't sit right with me. How did he even come upon Casey? What happened? It's something they're not telling us. And that don't sit right with me, and it ain't going to sit right with me, regardless if he get the full max or whatever the situation may be. Because I know it's more to this story. But we're going to leave it as it is, man. Rest in peace to the case. We're going to get up out of here, man. Hopefully y'all had a good Mother's Day. Enjoy the rest of y'all's evening. Tomorrow, y'all know we're going to get right back to it. Content on top of content on top of content. You dig? Tomorrow, we're going to talk about this fool-ass dude right here. I done told y'all agent provocateurs and rabble-rousers abound. Agent provocateurs and rabble-rousers abound on YouTube, throughout the whole social engineering. And we're going to talk about this Chud the Builder guy tomorrow, right? Because he was a fairy. He was a fairy. I ain't gonna say the rest of that. Let's pause. Right? We're gonna get to this tomorrow, though, y'all. Oh, we're gonna talk about it. I told y'all HR 1955, violent radicalization, ideologically based violence. We're gonna get to it, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Shout out to all the moms out there, all the mothers, you know, making it happen, doing what you do. We appreciate y'all. You understand what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all, everything y'all do, all the sacrifices y'all made to make sure your children had the best of whatever they could have to the best of your ability. You know what I'm talking about? It's a beautiful thing.
That's not necessary.
No. Rest of that.
That's not necessary.
Casey Goodson Jr., man. We're going to be right back here on Everyone Talk Podcast. Really cool. Thanks a lot, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Good evening.
And your hat.
Task Force, Black Force, we the tag team. If it's a nightmare, then it must be a bad dream. E&E, running our lanes like a track meet, skipping over hurdles. Call us a track team, all paperwork legit. It's the fact team, then double up the championship belts like a tag team. Black on black, yeah, it's a black thing. Black jewelry shining on all of our black kings. All black everything, we got black tea. All black coffee, man, I don't add cream. Norse give you all you need, no more caffeine. Close down the whole set, no more casting. Remove targets off our back like a black team. We keep growing up the game like a black team. Your girl got a problem with me, then get at me. I'm tired to a bumper, now you got a drag queen. You can't stop me, you old as jalopy. This is past me and I got it photocopied. Caught him on film, flow, tracks and sloppy. Trying to attack me, you a carbon copy. I street the heat like chimney blocks, and I charge for a hook, put me in a penalty box. Man, I'm killing the ops while I look at my watch. All hands on deck like the time on the clock. Task Force, Black Force, we the tag team. If it's a nightmare, then it must be a bad dream. E&E, running our lanes like a track meet, skipping over hurdles. Call us a track team, all paperwork legit. It's the fact team, then double up the championship belts like a tag team. Black on black, yeah, it's a black thing. Black jewelry shining on our black
Keep
kings.
my grass cut low to catch a glimpse of the snakes. Devilish serpents with purpose to steal your cake. Smiling in your face while they got their eyes on your safe. Boy, that hatred, man, they make you do some foul things. Switch up on your niggas like the numbers when the Dow change. When I'm worth a million, still a grind like a broke. Take it for granted, shit be going in the proof of smoke. Better put your plan in action, niggas get too used to hope. Formulated the plan, calculated the steps. 2020, my vision, see my way to the check. Only way is up, I made my way to the steps. Let's go. Look. Only way to move is building kingdom shit. Niggas won't make a move, want you to bring them shit. But God bless the child that can hold his own. They wanna give you numbers in a cell like a mobile phone. But fuck a cop, any wicked judicial system. Cause niggas on the edge, there for you to push. Bullets loaded tight up in that magazine. Bring a nightmare to American dreams.
Task Force, Black Force, we the tag team. If it's a nightmare, then it must be a bad dream. E&E, running our lanes like a track meet, skipping over hurdles. Call us a track team, all paperwork legit. It's the fact team, then double up the championship belts like a tag team. Black on black, yeah, it's a black thing. Black jewelry shining on our black kings.